Hi there. Hope y'all are doing all right. I wanted to talk a little bit about gratitude today, about Thanksgiving. Now, of course, we have our big Thanksgiving holiday coming up in a couple months. Hopefully, we'll actually get together with our family or celebrate in some form or fashion. But Thanksgiving gratitude isn't just for one day in November. It's something that we can do all the time. That came to mind recently as I was looking back on the past 5 years I've been here at CBC. Now, one thing that is very tough in serving a kid's life is making sure that we have enough volunteers for all our classes. We had our fall opening on September 13th, and what was pretty rare was we were able to open for almost all our classes. I think we only had one that we couldn't open because we didn't have enough volunteers. But often, every year, it's a tough challenge. It's a battle to make sure that we have all the right people in the right place with all the right resources. We'll be doing lots of communication about the needs that we have and the opportunities that we have. And we're always so grateful when people join our team, but often struggle to get all those spots filled. And so I think we're there. I think this next week we'll be able to open all our classes. But of course, things are different. We don't have as many classes. We don't have as many openings. We have to limit the number of kids that we can have. We only have 1 hour open at this time. We have to limit our gatherings. There's lots of changes this year, and I do not like change. I do not like change at all as I've grown up and gone through life. And so we actually called this year's theme for our Kids Life volunteers, Be the Change. And so we recognize that we can be the change in kids' lives, but also we need to approach change with courage. As I typed those words out, I had to remind myself that I have to do that. We also need to let God change our hearts, because it's so easy for us to cling to the past and cling to what we once had. Now, the past isn't bad. What we had once isn't exactly bad. But if all we do is focus on what once was, we don't allow God to take us into what could be. But we can still be thankful. We can still be grateful for the things that God has brought into our lives, or the people that God has brought into our lives. So recently I wanted to sit down and just look over all the names of all the volunteers that I've had in elementary kids' life over the past 5 years. And it really was a joy. Now, first I had to go through all my emails and find all my old files of all our lists of different people and put them all in one place. But once I got them all down in an Excel sheet, my goodness, it was just so wonderful to look at all these names of all these people, some who have served for a season, and some that have served for all the 5 years I've been here, and even longer than that. Some of our high schoolers, who you see them have served since they were a middle schooler, and now they're maybe even seniors in high school that are serving. Some that have moved on to college, and you can see the date at which they moved out of CBC into the next journey that God led them on. I can see some volunteers who joined us in this area, and then over in this area, and then over in this area. And I can see some people that joined in one spot and stayed on from there on. It's really quite a privilege to get to serve with so many people over the years. But the truth is, we could all look at the people in our lives, and we could all chart out the different people that God has given to us for a season or for our whole life. Now, it's hard sometimes as we have to let people go, and as seasons change, sometimes the people that we have surrounding us change, and sometimes our circumstances change, whether it's our work or our family or our schedules, and sometimes we're not able to see the same people that are dear to us. But we can still celebrate the people that God has given us. Now, I've got a verse that I'd like to share from Philippians 1:3, and it says, "I thank my God every time I remember you." And that's something that Paul wrote to the people of Philippi. And he said that he prayed with joy for them. And the truth is that we can thank God for the people that he has given us. But not just the people, the experiences, the challenges that we've gone through, the seasons of life that we've gone through. We can thank God for all of these things because ultimately they are all part of God's plan to help us grow and to help us change, go through change and approach change with courage. It's all part of God's work in our lives to help us become more like him, help us become more like Jesus. And so I just encourage you to take a moment, maybe take 20 seconds, and think about the people who have made a difference in your life. Think about those who have loved you, cared for you, encouraged you, guided you, mentored you, those who have been a change in your life. Go ahead, I'll count for you. We are truly blessed for all the people that God brings into our lives. So I encourage you today to thank God for all these people, whether those you have in your life right now, those you get to work with, or those that are in your church, your small group, or in your neighborhood, or in your family, in your circle of friends, or those that you've known before. Thank God for every time you remember them. And you can pray with joy for each one of them. I can even encourage you to reach out to one of them and tell them how much you appreciate them and how much of a blessing they've been in your life. So thank you all for joining me today. I pray that this blesses you. And I bet many of you are some of the people that are dear to me, have come up in my mind and my prayers. So thank you for being a change, being an influence, being a blessing in my life. I'll see you later.